Why are we still paying them alimony? Alimony was designed for a different era, okay? It originated when women couldn't legally own property or work, and that's not the case today. That's not the case. There's plenty of boss babes out there, isn't there? Lots of women have high paying jobs, lots of C-level executive type women out there. Why are we still paying them alimony? Why are we still paying child support? They can clearly earn, right? The next one is child support assumes one-sided parenting. Okay, so modern dads are more involved than ever, yet the law still assumes the mother is the primary caregiver. My ex-wife and I, we have 50-50 custody. I still pay her. Luckily, I stopped paying her alimony several years ago, but I'm still paying her child support. In fact, when my daughter aged out, I thought that my child support payments were going to get cut in half. No, they reevaluated our salaries and adjusted for inflation, and we're going to have you keep paying the same amount of money, is what they said. So I'm like, okay, so for my son, who's been fine with the half that he's been getting, now I got to pay double for him, and then his mom doesn't even use it on him. I still pay for everything, right? Like, we'll get into that. We'll get into that. Before we do, though, guys, do be sure to like, subscribe, hit those notifications. I do have new episodes every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Wednesdays are breakup Wednesdays. We talk about stuff that impact guys going through divorce or breakups. If you guys are watching live right now, do sound off in the live chat, okay? I do want to hear from you. I saw Brother Nathan in there going off earlier, so I know y'all are watching. So sound off in the chat, especially like if you're a guy that's paying alimony or child support, and you think these laws are ridiculous, and your baby mamas are perfectly capable of getting jobs. Like, I want to hear from you guys, okay? And then I do this full time, guys. This is my full time job. I am a full time content creator and men's coach. If you find value in these episodes, send your boy a ducat or two, okay? You can send that as a super chat. If you guys are watching it on Facebook Live right now, you guys can send me stars. I think that's what they call it, but it's the same idea. It's the same idea. All right. The next one on the list here, alimony can disincentivize self-sufficiency. Guaranteed payments may reduce the drive for financial independence in both parties. That's an interesting point. So my ex-wife, for the last 10 years, actually the last 11 years, she's basically been in and out of jobs. If she doesn't like her boss, they're mean to her, and so she quits. She's had probably 6 jobs since we got divorced, 11 years ago. And most of the time she'll work for a little bit, and then she'll just go and not work and live off of the alimony and child support. She waited until the child support ran out before she remarried, because it was a 5-year thing. So she didn't want to get rid of that gravy train, right? And then she got married, and now she's running the same playbook on her new husband, where she really doesn't want to work. But the thing is that my son only has a couple years left in the program. He just turned 16, so we have to pay through their 18th birthday. So he only has, or all the way until they turn 19. So I have a couple years left paying that child support, and then it's going to be done. So now she's forced to go back to school and, have to deal with the real world. I think her husband's sick of her crap, and I know they have marriage problems. My kids tell me about it, but now she's going back to school so she can finally get a high paying job, because the gravy ticket's going to be drying up here in a couple of years, right? So she hasn't been incentivized until now to get a real job. And for several years, while I was when I was paying out alimony, I declined. How's that? I declined getting raises with my then day job, because I was like, if they were going to pay me more money, I'm just going to have to pay her more alimony. She's going to come after me for more money. So what's in it for me to actually get paid more? So I was actually declining raises, and because I didn't want to pay her more money. So do you see how this can impact both parties? Equality means equal risk and reward, right? Women wanted all this equality. right? They wanted equal rights. It's funny how feminism works like that. They want equality when it suits them, and they don't want equality when it doesn't suit them. Okay, but you either get equality or you don't. Okay, so we're giving you equality. Real equality means both sides face the same risks and rewards in marriage and divorce. And right now, it's a bad deal for men and a great deal for women, because women get cash and prizes if they decide they're not happy, they're not feeling it anymore. I just, I love him, but I'm not in love with him. So they get rewarded for it. Women lead in higher education. This sort of goes hand in hand with how college graduates are mostly female, right? Women are more likely to hold advanced degrees, positioning them for career success. Basically, they're able to get a job. They're able to work. Why are we paying them? Okay? You don't want to live with me, you don't want to be a part of my lifestyle. Why do I have to continue paying your lifestyle? See, and that's the thing, right? Like a man will love a woman and he could date a girl that's below him, right? Like a highfalutin attorney could date a hot barista, but the state, once you marry her, the state brings her up to your level, and then if she decides she's not happy anymore, instead of her falling back to this level, the state won't allow that. They're like, no, you brought her up to this level that she's accustomed to. You owe it to her now to keep her there. Like, why do I owe her anything? She can get a job. There's women are leading in higher education. She can just go get that higher education, go get a job, right? No. Can't possibly do that. Outdated gender stereotypes hurt everyone. So alimony and child support laws still treat women as victims and men as providers, despite cultural shifts. Right? Women have been fighting for this equality for centuries. We've been told equal partnership in a relationship, where equal partners, men and women, are the samesies. Well, if they're the samesies, then why am I providing? Right? Like, why isn't she a capable provider? I thought women don't need no man. Y'all are quiet today. I don't like this. This is weird. It's almost like, is something off? Is my channel not showing up? Drop a 1 in the chat if you guys are listening, just, patiently or something like that. Because it just something seems off. Something seems off. Anyway, the next one here is joint custody is now the new norm. Okay, most states now prefer joint custody, yet child support often ignores this trend. There's I wrote about it in Everything I Wish I Knew when I was 18. But at the time of that writing, which was a couple of years ago, it might have changed now. At that time of that writing, there was only 2 states that had a default 50-50. And like, there were some states that had a 50-50 would be considered. There were some where, it was preferred, but there was only 2 states where it was like, that was the default, where we're starting at 50-50 custody, unless you can prove why the other person can't have them half the time. And at that time, it was Florida and Kentucky. Okay. But more and more states are now moving to this trend, because why not? There's perfectly good dads out there. In fact, a lot of dads are dadding pretty freaking hard right now. Right. In fact, that was one of the blessings of divorce, was I got to be a full-time dad 50% of the time, which meant I got to instill all my values on my kids, and without any interference from my now ex-wife, right? Where she would paint me as the bad guy, or tell my kids that what I was telling them wasn't true, or whatever, undermine me in some way, right? I had them 100% half the time, and I was really able to connect with them and stuff like that. I love that. I love doing that. There's plenty of dads out there that do that these days. So if I had them 50% of the time, and she's perfectly capable of getting a job, and she does have a college degree, why am I paying for her lifestyle? Plus, she got remarried. Why am I still paying child support? They got 2 incomes over there. I only got 1 over here. I'm still paying? It's crap, man. Guys, just want to remind you that I am having a workshop this Saturday. It's all on the silent attraction killer, what's killing your sex life without you knowing about it. Even if you've gone through a breakup, you can use this information in your next relationship to make sure that, like, this sort of thing never happens to you again. Because a lot of guys don't realize that a lot of their behavior is unattractive. It's very unattractive to women. And it's, we say in the space, be attractive, don't be unattractive. Being attractive means, keeping your beard trimmed, smelling good, wearing clothes that fit, going to the gym so that you're in shape, like stuff like that. But don't be unattractive is your behavior, like how do you show up in the relationship? And a lot of guys are being unattractive as hell because we have a lot of nice guys out here. All right. What is this chat thing being shown? Oh, show comments on the page. I don't like that. Okay, we'll turn that off. All right. This is weird. So I made a bunch of changes to my YouTube channel last night, and I wonder if that's impacting views because all of a sudden, like my normal amount of views is just it's plummeted right now. It's like, are you guys even out there? I do see people in the chat. Nurse Chick is in the chat. She says, "Good morning, gentlemen." She gets this.
So naughty.
She is very naughty.
I'm going to come.
I definitely will. I don't know if you guys knew this, but Nurse Chick has a new book out. It's called Bellies Full, Balls Empty. Bellies Full, Balls Empty. I think if you search for Bellies Full, Balls Empty on Amazon, it's the only book that comes up because Nurse Chick is the only one bold enough to write a title like that for women. Grab this book for your girl. Just grab it and then secretly slip it into her purse or something so she sees it, okay? That's what I'm recommending for guys because that's what this is all about. It's a relationship book for women written by a woman that knows how to treat a man right. Let me tell you. Brother Nathan's in the house. This guy has gone through the absolute ringer when it comes to family court. So he's speaking from the heart here. It says child support should be abolished. Title 4D is unconstitutional. If we stop paying women to leave, we'll see less divorce. Sweet, I like this point system. Oh, yeah, because YouTube has a point system now. It's funny. Finally get to try and make a show at work. IT always blocking you. IT doesn't like me. Fathers have to pay to see their kids. They do. It's sad. Men don't do enough to fight the system. We just take it and pay. And get Paul's book so you don't have to go through the so-called family divorce or family court. I agree. The whole family court system it's not included in the Constitution. It's fascinating. There's documentaries on this. It's outside the Constitution, which means like judges have a ridiculous amount of power in the family court system, and you don't even have to have, you don't have to, it's not innocent until proven guilty. It's just, you can make accusations with people and then it's just accepted. It's the family court system is terrible. Jerry's in the house. Good. He's in the dividend gypsy. Is the saying true? Divorce is so expensive because it's worth it. Sometimes it really is cheaper to keep her. So my personal philosophy, dividend gypsy, is that if you didn't get the memo that marriage is a bad deal for men, and you pulled that trigger and you're in a marriage, there's no reason not to try to fix your marriage. That's what Mondays are for. Mondays are dead bedroom Wednesdays. And you're trying to actually fix this relationship that you decided to go all in on and write a contract and sign your life away. You might as well try to fix it. But if you can't, that's what Wednesdays are for. And we're talking about that for guys that weren't able to turn things around and they got divorced and now they're back out in the circuit and, they're hating women because the dating market's trash and whatever. Warren says, you're totally right. Thank you. Erkin says, are you still paying child support? I am still paying child support. My daughter aged out, so she's in college now. I'm not paying her child support anymore. But my son, he's 16, and in Colorado, you have to pay through their 18th birthday. So I have to pay until he turns 19, and then I'll finally be free. So I got a couple of years left of that. All right, let's get back to it, guys. Let's get back to bitching about the women.
New episodes every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Subscribe now.